Greetings and salutations, you guys. I hope that within the midst of things, I hope you guys are doing great. Please keep up faith. Please be safe with yourself, with your loved ones, and just continue to push forward with everything that's going on. I know it's hard. I know it's rough, but again, hopefully with this, we too shall pass. All right. So, with that being said, let's get this video review done before it gets dark outside. And trust me, believe I'm not going anywhere. When I'm done with this, I'm going right back in the house. Alright, so Love, Lies, and Betrayal by Courtney Simone. What can I say? I don't even know what to say. I have so many mixed feelings about this novel. Like, I got my notes, but if I'm all over the place, I apologize. Alright, so Love, Lies, and Betrayal is about a girl named Tara, I think it's Tara, and she goes through, some love, goes through lies, and goes through betrayal with the people that she loves. She falls in love. She didn't think she meets her Prince Charming. She has her sister, her best friend. Everything just chaos, alright? Personally, I feel like Tara created a lot of her turmoil and her chaos because of the stuff that she was doing. Now, I'm going to try not to give too many details about the book, but, I really have to give my feelings on the book, okay? First, she was with Norris, her best friend, Chanel's brother. She fell in love with him. He was her first, whatever the case may be, and things didn't work out, all right? She has a sister, Michelle, and although they don't have the greatest relationship, or what can you say? I mean, sometimes it just happens. And I feel like the stuff that she dealt with the guys, I'm not giving them a pass of the stuff that they were doing, but the fact of how she was moving and carrying on with herself, I really feel like she's like bipolar or something. I feel like she really has some mental issues, even though they talk about it later on in the book about her being depressed. But a lot of that, you caused on your own, okay? And when I say that is because you went from Norris to Chris, back to Norris, back to Chris, to Anthony, and then back to Norris. I'm not even understanding. And the whole thing with, Norris was her first love, and that didn't work out. Then she moved on to Chris. It was like, all right, she had a baby. The whole time, okay, you wound up going back to Norris before you and Chris, I guess, made it official, but it's like you weren't even upfront about that. So you went this whole time marrying Chris and going through all this and not even knowing who the father of your daughter was. And then you want to get mad at Chris because how he reacted and how he found out. Well, first of all, you told people. You should have kept that to yourself if you wasn't going to, divulge it to the man that you was marrying. On top of that, you get mad because Chris is doing what he's doing, but it's like, you were doing what you was doing. I didn't understand about in the book where, they got married, although they were in Charlotte. He was in Atlanta because that's where he had his club. And then, he was flying back and forth, take care of that. And this is the other. I don't understand how everything goes from being good until the fact that then all of a sudden stuff starts going bad. On top of that, it went in the book about how, Tara had her boutique set up and, her best friend Chanel and her sister Michelle was also working there. And she was saying how they were great managers, so all of a sudden, and how they were keeping things afloat, and how they was the best thing because they helped her, to the fact that her sister Michelle was such a problem that she had to fire her. That part right there, it just, threw me for a loop because I feel like there was some things missing, and it didn't make sense to me. It just made it feel like it was just thrown in there to just start causing all the chaos. It's like, okay, how did you and like Chris thought having problems. Like, it didn't say it. I mean, how could you guys be around each other to have problems? It just didn't state that in the book, so that's why it just got confusing to me. Along with the whole, one page Michelle, is a blessing in disguise with the boutique, and the next thing you know, she's just a problem child, and she's always late and always drunk, and it's just so many issues. So that was a problem that I had because, like I said, it just jumped and I just didn't understand where it came from. But the other stuff, like, I really feel like Tara has mental problems because for her not to be able to see the stuff that she did, like, you was just hopping from dick to dick to dick to dick. I mean, back and forth. And it's like, you say you're a grown woman, but, huh? Like, it was just bananas. And then the whole thing with Chanel, and Gracie and the whole boutique and finding out what Chanel was doing in the boutique, like, that was really jacked up. Like, that just came out of nowhere. And although it was suspicious for me because it's like Gracie just came out of Chanel and Tara were friends growing up, and Gracie just came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, she catches that this is happening, and then Chanel just automatically gets the boot. Like, some of the stuff just moved a little fast without, any substance, and I was just like, I mean, granted, it was, like I said, it was just suspicious for me for Gracie to just come out and just be, the best friend and the one that is loyal because, and they say that, people that you don't know could be more loyal than the people that you've known for a lifetime. I get that, but like I said, it was confusing to me. Michelle, I mean, the falling out with Michelle, it was bound to happen, but like I said, it just came out of nowhere due to the fact that Michelle was a blessing in disguise, and then all of a sudden she was just hell on wheels. It's just crazy how they never really had the best relationship, and then their parents die, and then they tried to, and, but on that part, Tara did, try her best to be there for her sister or whatever. Although Michelle was older than Tara, it was just crazy. I mean, sometimes you just gotta let bygones be bygones and be done with it, and that's what she wound up doing. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that as far as finding out who the child was, I think it's crazy that you were all this long and just being mad that fact that Chris knew, and the fact that there was a possibility that it wasn't his child, to the fact that you actually took so long to find out who the child's father was, knowing in the back of your mind that you had doubt from the beginning. That's just the jacked up part. All in all, I really enjoyed the book for the most part. Like I said, I will be continuing to read the rest of the series because I would like to know what happened, especially now that everybody is now like swapping fluids. It's crazy. The whole Anthony / daddy, I'm just like, why can't we just call him Anthony? Why you gotta be daddy this or daddy that? This, like, it doesn't seem like you had a bad father, so it's like, why? I just was over the whole, especially if you're not introducing him as your man, like, why are you referencing him as daddy? Like, that was just, I mean, that was the author's preference, but it was just irking my nerve to my core. Like, I was just like, every time I got to read about daddy said this and daddy said it, I'm just like, wasn't feeling it at all. But I mean, it had some good points. It did. I didn't like the fact that a lot of the stuff was like repetitive, and some stuff was just like redundant. It's like, okay, I don't really need for you to tell me in 5 different ways, like, prime example, that she had on a yellow dress. Like, I understand she had on a yellow dress. You don't need to explain it 5 different ways about the yellow dress. Like, I get it. It is what it is, but it was very interesting. This is the first book that I've read by Miss Courtney Simone, and I hope that it comes together more and more throughout the series. I think there's like a part 2 and a part 3. I'm not sure. I remember seeing something on Facebook about it the other day, but yeah, at the end of part 1, it was definitely crazy, finding out that Chris and Norris, like her baby, she wound up finding out who the real father is, and it's funny to find out how, like I said, everybody wound up just swapping fluids because her husband Chris, even though they're getting divorced, winds up getting with somebody she knows and is close to, and Norris, her first love, he winds up getting with somebody that was close to her as well. I think it's just trifling. I mean, it's like, is there no other people around where y'all just got, I don't know. But I think that Chris and the one person that he's been messing with, like, I think that's been happening for a really long time. And I believe he tried to tell her that, and she just wasn't trying to listen. So on that part was Tara's fault. But it does suck for the stuff that she went through. But like I said, a lot of it she caused on her own, because it's like you just jumping back and forth, and it just goes to show that people really don't take the time to get to know each other before they fall in love. They fall in lust, and they feel like it's the best thing ever, again, because somebody can make you do gang signs with your toes. People fall in love in the bedroom before they fall in love outside the bedroom. So when that happens, that's what you get. You get a bunch of love. Well, it should be lust, lies, and betrayal, because you don't really know the person. I think the whole Anthony thing, I feel like she just moved too fast with him. I think he's pushing so fast. I mean, he wanted to get more to know her when he even found out she was married. And this was like fresh in the marriage, and it was like they were having problems. And I'm like, where? How? Like, why are you thinking you're so totally in love with this guy? You married him, and where all of a sudden do you start having problems where you start seeing a fine guy and you just like, we're gonna put the dick in the glass case, like breaking case of emergency. Like, I don't get it. But like I said, interesting enough, and I will be checking out part 2 and hopefully part 3. So yeah, y'all, Love, Lies, and Betrayal by Courtney and Simone. It's a crazy world out here. Get to know somebody before you really, really, jump into bed with them. I mean, especially this day and age. It's just too much. It's just too much. It's just way too much. All right? So with that being said, again, y'all, please be safe. Don't forget, reading is fundamental. I love you, and peace out.